It's time to panel up. Let's see what we can learn, share some information, get the word out about the things we know, and answer the questions you need answered. So welcome to another great panel brought to you by comicbookadvocates.com and the On Network. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. You know you did something right when you're in the back headbanging to the music that you picked. I am going to be talking to you today. I am stag for the second day in a row. Let's hope that changes as the show goes on. So, first off, I just want to stress this out. And if you're on Kickstarter, I'm starting to invite you to these things or on Indiegogo. And I want you guys to be part of our new show. And we're going to switch over real quick to show you about our new show. And we're going to have a guest joining us. So I'm not going to be stag after all, which is pretty awesome. And here it is. This is the 7 reasons. Then we're going to bring in a guest. Whoa, it's weird. Our actual intro is not in the right place. All right, let's try this again. As Jax is playing with tape behind me. And why is it not in the right place? Things are never in the right place. Here we go. Welcome to the 7 Reasons to Back It. Our show's concept is that each creator is invited on to answer 7 questions about their crowdfunding campaigns. Over the 7 rounds of questions, creators are eliminated by a guest judge, and only the best answers move the creator onward. The creators have 60 seconds to answer these questions. The first 5 questions are given by the host, and then the last 2 are picked by the guest judge. Guest judges have Hell's Kitchen rules, meaning the judge picks when people are eliminated, and even if they're not, 1 round can have 0 eliminations or up to 5. Judges will be giving real-time feedback at the end of each round to help the creators learn. Judges can and may ask follow-up questions at their discretion at the end of each round. The winner goes on to get 15 minutes of fame or can choose to get the first 15 minutes of the next upcoming show. And in that case, the runner-up gets the spotlight. This is hosted by the Comics Devil and proud comic book advocate, Mr. Anderson, which you can find the devil in his tails at MrAnderson.com. This program is brought to you by comicbookadvocates.com and the Advocating Network. All right, let's introduce our guest judge for this week and the contestants who want to prove their crowdfunding is worth the spotlight. And there he is, our guest judge for the show.
I'm the guest judge?
You're the guest judge. Chuck will be the guest judge on that show, but I do want you to be on this weekend, 4 p.m. Eastern.
When is it? It's Saturday?
4 p.m. Don't break my heart.
All right, I'll try. I'll do my best to be there. I have work on Saturdays at 5. I have to leave. So if we get it started right at 4, you guys usually do it at about an hour. I can leave like 15-20 minutes late, so long as we keep it to it. But yeah, no, I can totally do that.
Well, I mean, we could start at 3:45. I don't mind, just to accommodate you.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll just
we got
to start 15 minutes early for you, and he won't mind because we'll be on at 4. That's all that matters. We're on at 4.
Fair enough.
We just have an early start time.
So I see that Jax is with you. I've got James with me as well.
How's the weather out there? Looks like it's getting warmer.
It's nice. James is having a. Oh my goodness! Look, there's a new Kevin, James.
Okay, James. This is Sam. This is James. That's Michael.
Anyways. So who do we got as contestants this week, or is it just us right now?
Well, this is actually just right now us talking about the double dip. I wanted to introduce that show because we're really pushing it. What we're talking about today is actually And this is a good question because I don't actually see this a lot. When you're done on Indiegogo, are you planning to go to Kickstarter to double dip?
I think if I had done things the other way around and I had done Kickstarter first, I would have set up an Indiegogo and done like a super low backer thing to get in demand super really quick, and then have that be an online storefront. But Kickstarter doesn't really do Kickstarter. It doesn't really work the other way around with Kickstarter. I do think that's a really good strategy, and I've seen a lot of people do it. Obviously you and Luke have both done it for your guys' books, and I think that's really smart. I think it's a really good idea. And I know Terra Olympus did it as well. They just launched an Indiegogo after doing a very successful crowdfund run on Kickstarter. So now that they can have an open marketplace. But like for me, especially with them, with Indiegogo allowing me to lower my flex goal that one time. So it was no longer at 10K. It's now at 7, and we're so close to being fully funded with the final push coming up here soon, and I'm expecting we're going to probably jump quite a bit on that last day or so. If I hit the fully fund, I'm just going to go in demand, and then I have an online store for a hot minute. So there wouldn't really be a point to host a double dip. But I do think it's a genius idea. There's no reason not to do it. I just think that if you're planning to do a double dip, it's smarter to start Kickstarter and then go Indiegogo.
Can I pitch an idea for you?
Yeah.
All right. So like you said, it's easier the other way. So if you go to Kickstarter, you have to have some new content, right?
Yeah.
So why not do an alternate cover to get to Kickstarter?
That you know what I might do is I've been getting a lot of people hitting me up saying that they really like Marcelo's inked work, and it is I have had like 5 or 6 people express interest in a black and white cut of the Elysian Fields.
That'd be easy. That'd be easy to do, right?
Yeah, no, and we could very well do that, and I could sell them for a lot cheaper, and we could do them as floppies as opposed to the normal one. We could do we could just sell the floppies at this point, and that way I can get an order out for those. And I already have a relationship with Hero and Villain Designs, and I'm sure that they'd be glad to have some more work. And that is a solid idea, and it's something that I'll think about. And we may very well do. I'll talk to Luke about potentially doing that. I'm sure that he wouldn't mind doing the lettering for that. It'd be pretty simple. I just send him all the black and white pages, and we'd probably be able to get that done pretty quick.
Yeah, I think, dude, honestly, I think that's the way to go. I get that you screwed up the normal progression, but what is normal anymore? If we're learning anything this year, there is no normal. And I tell people, I started off this year doing a garage sale on Kickstarter, basically of my books and all my older books. By literally, they said, make something new for $100. So I was like, cool, I have this book we haven't released yet. We have this cover that I didn't do. Let's do a Kickstarter and celebrate this cover. Sure enough, that's what we did. We got a new cover out of it. Check it out. We got this beautiful new cover for my story. It's going on right there. See?
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. And I might actually, I'm all speaking of doing that. What I might do is for the floppy, to make the version that we did on that Indiegogo even more rare. I might swap out the main cover that we have for that Jim O'Brien pinup that I showed off last night, because I know a lot of people really like that. I've been getting nothing but like people messaging me like, that thing's so freaking cool. Is that a cover? And I was like, it is the pinup. I don't have. I'd need to talk to Jim and make sure that he would be okay with us doing that, because I don't want. I'm sure he will, so long as I obviously give him credit for the cover in the book and what have you. but I don't want him to feel like, oh, well, I did this for you and now you're making it more than what it was supposed to be, and there be any saltiness there. I'd want to make sure that I didn't make him feel like he was being taken advantage of, because he did that pinup as a personal favor to me and to try and help out my campaign, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth having that conversation. I applaud you for reaching out and having the conversation. And we're getting the comments now. I fixed it. Here's Sarah saying, "Hey there," and hi to Brian K. Morris. And Brian K. Morris is flirting in our chat room saying, "Hey dear." Always a flirt. Always a flirt. I'm with the cookie, Brian. Welcome to the show. For those who don't know, by the way, I don't think I explained the double dip. I think it's pretty obvious. But hey, buddy. I don't think I explained it. So for those who don't know, we're being joined by Kevin's going to join us. So I hope we're going to have Kevin on here in a minute. So a double dip is this. It's really simple, guys. Uh-oh. What happened? Do you want to get on the show? What? A double dip is simply when you go to one platform and then you go to a different platform. So I was on Kickstarter. We successfully funded. I was able to go to Indiegogo. Now, I'm not running another crowdfunding campaign. I didn't change a thing. As a matter of fact, I took out some rewards and put the books that are normal produced into in demand. They call it in demand. So it basically gives me an Indiegogo storefront. That's it. That's all I had to do. That's why Mike was saying it's harder, right?
Yeah.
To do it the reverse way, because Kickstarter doesn't have a store. They actually say they're not a store. So it's very hard to do that in reverse. So we're going to bring in Kevin. Kevin, what's going on? Can you hear us, Kevin? Kevin has been moved.
I can't hear, though.
Try to back out and come back in. Sometimes that fixes it.
Oh, buddy. Ew.
Kevin, if you can hear me, come back in. Getting slobbered. You know what we'll do? We'll play a video for your Kickstarter right now.
My Indiegogo.
Oh, no. My mind's already got you on Kickstarter. All right. We don't need a Zoom. There we go.
Oh, man. Oh, you're so gross.
Welcome to the Elysian Fields crowdfunding campaign. Thanks for giving us a check out. Elysian Fields started off as just a game between friends. Nerdy kids debating which mythic heroes would win pitted against each other. Over the years, as things grew, this became a concept I fixated on, knowing the potential that it could have as a story. Now it's a living, breathing thing. And for it to succeed, I need you.
Okay.
So come check out our Indiegogo campaign and see what you can do to Elysian Fields issue 0, the print and beyond. Thank you.
All right. So he's got 9 days left. We're so close to the goal. We can get this. Guys. Make sure to share this out. Kevin, are you with us now? Can you hear us?
Hey. Yeah, now I can hear you. I have I'm on my phone for a change, so I had to reset the audio for the phone.
First, most important question: how's the move going?
Oh, it's slowly but surely. I've got tons of boxes just waiting on a truck now to show up.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, guys. Hi.
You gotta calm down there.
Kevin, speaking of moving, we're talking about moving from Indiegogo to Kickstarter. Indiegogo. What are your thoughts on that? When you see a project go from one side to the other side of crowdfunding?
Hey, let me get where I can hear because it's too windy out here.
Okay. So, I mean, this is a great way for people to raise money as Kevin moves into a better position. This is a great way for creators to continue to make funds. So, Kevin, today's topic is us actually talking about going from Indiegogo to Kickstarter. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a good idea for creators to do?
I don't have a whole lot of experience with Indiegogo. I know that Kickstarter, along with help of other people, has done really well. It just depends. I don't. Like I said, I have to find out more about the history of Indiegogo.
Okay. Well, yeah. So basically, we're trying to, because I mean, there's a good way to make more money. Let's see. Mike's got the dad duty right now. He's hanging out with the kid. That's my life. That is my everyday. So what I'm trying to convince. Oh, there's
my life right now.
I distracted him with a bike temporarily. We'll see how long that holds up.
So yeah, my son's over there singing, not doing schoolwork as always. We're trying to make sure Elysian Fields, and it took me a while to get it, but I think it's Elysian, right?
Elysian, yes.
I nailed it. All right, so we're trying to get this funded, $7,000. I'm glad to see you're able to bring the goal down. So that makes it. We can get him to $7,000. That keeps him in the running on Indiegogo. Super important. Please share this out. Let's get him a lot more backers. Let's get it out there for people to see. And one of the things that'll be cool is if he can get onto this platform and be on demand. But if he also goes to Kickstarter, here's the cool thing. You get a bigger audience because you're on two different platforms. That's what the double dip is about. The double dip is just about getting a bigger audience. So imagine if we get Monty to switch over. For example, Monty's on Kickstarter right now. He's ending up with Loco Hero. If he can take that to then a successful campaign to Indiegogo, he now has a storefront that can just help him continue to raise money. So that's the basic idea of all these things, and that's what we're kind of excited about. Let me ask you a question. Michael, why did you pick Indiegogo to begin with?
So the big reason why I picked Indiegogo over Kickstarter was this is my first book, and I knew I paid for most everything out of pocket. I've been paying for most everything out of pocket, and I wanted to make sure that even if I didn't hit all of what I needed to make to reimburse what I had spent, that I would get something. It's important. Rob, you're a dad, and you know how important it is. I want to make sure that I have a little bit of return to bring home to the wife and kids, because as much as this is my passion, this is time that I've taken away from them to make sure that I get this done. And they have been super supportive. My wife was the first backer of my Indiegogo. They're really proud of me, and I thank them for all the patience and everything that they've had while I've been doing all of this. But that was my big thing, is that I wanted to make sure that no matter what, even if I didn't hit, because initially I had that 10K goal, which I think I probably could have made, but it would have been close. But this is I can guarantee that I'll be bringing home at least a solid chunk of change, and we're already in profit margins and we're doing great. But I wanted to make sure that no matter what, we were going to be getting money. And then on top of that, you add the additional bonus of the in-demand perk, which essentially establishes an online store for me. And so I can continue to make money past the campaign and get more money to invest into the next book. And so that was really my thought process, was just Kickstarter has more of a reputation, and it's become that thing that's synonymous with crowdfunding, the way that Flashlight has become the synonymous thing for a torch. Because you go to England, they still call Flashlight torches, but Flashlight was an old company, and that the electric torch was their product, and it became so synonymous that's what they're called here now. And so Kickstarter does have that reputation, and they have that kind of audience. But the big worry for me was, what if we didn't hit the goal? And if we didn't hit that goal, I don't get anything, and then everybody else loses out on the book. And that's the big thing I wanted to prevent, especially since this is my first book.
So you're saying there's more of a safety net?
Yes. Yeah. Because if you do the flexible goal, you get everything that you raised. And so that way I was guaranteed that no matter what, people were going to get my book. Even if there was only 5 people that got that purchased, my book, I would have had some money. I would have been able to print off like 5-10 copies and sent out what we needed to fulfill that. It would have been like a crushing blow to my ego, but like that way, no matter what, we had something. We had something that could be used to make sure that people got the book onto my campaign and was expecting to get this book and was really excited about it. And then we just missed the mark, and then now they're not getting it.
Now catch me up. Does that mean you have to give up any sort of rights or royalties or percentages if you go that route?
There wasn't anything that was like, I think the big thing that really pushed me into really investigating it was I noticed that a lot of the bigger campaigns that are making over 100K and what have you were going over to Indiegogo. And so I started to look at their platform versus Kickstarters, and I liked what I saw at Indiegogo a lot more. And Kickstarter is great, and I think that I do like the fact that like if your campaign is doing really well, they will promote your campaign. It will be up front and center, which I don't think Indiegogo does to the same degree. I know that they do it for certain things, but like usually you have to be up in their like top 25 or what have you, and I'm not going to be making $125,000 off of a comic book for my first publication.
It makes sense.
But yeah, that's the big reason why I went the way I did.
Yeah, and just the ability for you to go to a different platform could be huge, though. Because I've got to give you credit. 158 people supporting you on one platform that is not known for getting a lot of people is a unique feature. I don't see a lot of people going to Indiegogo making that kind of backer.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing of I have been and my wife can tell you, she's yelled at me so many times. It'll be like it'll get to the point where like sometimes we'll be during us time and I'll like pull up my phone and I'm just checking for like an email from my artist, and then I'll notice that we get like a new contribution, and then I'll go and I'll start like sending out emails and everything, and she'll yell at me. But like I literally nonstop, between going through building up a Twitter presence really helped, and I got to know a whole bunch of people like you, Rob, during through the indie community, and each of them were like, "Hey, have you talked to this guy about going up on their show? Have you talked to this guy about going up on their show?" And so I've gotten to talk to all sorts of different people, and they've pushed my campaign, and they keep pushing it. And I went from 3 followers on Twitter to 235 in a month and a half. It's just been nonstop, and like I think that you learn a lot in this campaign, and I learned a lot in this campaign that I think is going to really help me on the next one. For one, I'm not just going to launch my campaign out of the blue. I'm going to build up to it, because I've noticed that when you do that early promo and you don't just go boom, here it is, you're going to have a much bigger start. And those first 2 weeks of a campaign are crucial.
Well, the clock's ticking at that point. So
yeah, exactly.
We usually run people in a circuit. We'll put Kickstarters down. We'll put everybody on a rotation of podcast shows.
Yeah,
kind of like the whole 1970s movie launch, right?
Burt
Reynolds would go around to all these different shows and talk about what his next movie was, and that's the same.
Exactly.
Way this.
And that is something that I am planning on doing. I already have a whole bunch of people set up to do review videos, and when I'm on those review videos, and talking to them, I'm planning on bringing up, hey, we've got the next campaign we're looking to launch at this point, and we're already hard at work at the next issue. I know that I sent Marcelo the script for the first part of the full-on storyline that we're going to be doing, because I'm no longer the next campaign isn't going to be a single issue. It's going to be a collection of a few.
It's never too late to piggyback. Pitch that next one coming forward.
Exactly. And so it's been really cool, and yeah, I've been having a blast. Like getting to know everyone in this community has been really great, and it's been a humbling experience to see us go from like in our first 2 weeks where we had like 50 backers or so to jumping to 150 over the past few weeks, and hitting 5K blew my mind. I didn't even think we were gonna we had done what I had set out to do, and we surpassed it by making back everything that I had spent on the book and going past that. But then to hit things like 5,000, to be nearing on 6 right now, and to have an actual shot at getting fully funded and going in demand, it leaves me without words.
Do you have any other questions for him, Kevin?
No, I appreciate that. That kind of put my mind in perspective what the differences between the two were, and why. That's good points. That's I see the logic in that.
Yeah, Kickstarter has the bigger advantage with the social media aspect because it sends out all those emails and stuff. But beyond that, it's like Mike's saying, you just got to bring an audience, right?
Yeah,
you can bring an audience anywhere you can get them to follow you, then it's going to work. I do give Indiegogo also credit for the pictures within the rewards. I really like that. Being able to put a picture of the reward right there. It doesn't dirty up your other section of the Kickstarter where you should be talking about the book and all that. Plus, you get to play YouTube videos. So you can put a YouTube video. And the difference there is whenever you upload something to a site, you get a little bit of downsizing, while YouTube allows you to upload full like 4K videos now. So you get a better video, I feel, on Indiegogo sometimes, because depending on the day, sometimes Kickstarter has kind of shrunk the file a bit. I saw an 8K video, and I was surprised Kickstarter had uploaded it the way they did, because very often you get compression.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that I do think that's another big advantage, because I haven't done it yet for this book, but like as I said, I've done a whole bunch of YouTube interviews, and like I could easily be posting those up as updates and be like, hey, do you want to hear a little bit more about the book? And I have that advantage, whereas if on Kickstarter I wouldn't necessarily be able to do that.
Yeah, and you have a limit, and then there's directing the file, and once we get back to the world where we're worrying about our data caps for the month and what data we're sharing. So right now we don't have to worry. It's not a big deal, but there will be a time, like he said, he can put a 2-hour interview, box it off at the very beginning with the pitch and go, hey guys, for those interested, here's a review I had, and here's this, and make this long montage video without worrying about it, because there's a maximum limit that you can actually put up to Kickstarter. You don't have that. YouTube doesn't. I think YouTube's limit is 6 hours. That's kind of impressive. He could make a whole video where people could fast forward and look for, what this person say, what that person say. So there are advantages to the two. And one day a company will come along and combine both of the good and blow them both out of the water. But like Mike said, we'll call it Kickstarter. I didn't know that about flashlights, but anytime I think of a copy, what do you want to say when you think of a copy? Go get a Xerox.
Yeah.
And Xerox not even a company anymore. They literally tried to sue people to stop saying it and started going out of business because they stopped having people say Xerox.
Well, think about it. It's just marketing. Everybody goes and gets a Coke, whether it's a Coke or not. You get Kleenex. Not everything is Kleenex, right? Same thing with Xerox and a copy.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just when words attach themselves to certain things, that's where they stick, and you can't shake it.
Yep. Yep. And that's pretty cool. So that's the first half hour. There's not a lot to talk about with the double dip. I do want to ask you both a question. Do you think it's okay for creators to run 2 crowdfunding campaigns on both platforms without changing anything? We had said it earlier where you would change the Kickstarter if you were to do it. But I've seen people just run the same campaign on both sites with no changes. I
don't think that that's a good way at all. Personally, because at the end of the day, people people are very they're very focused, and so if you put up two options, it could end up confusing people. I think it's a lot simpler. You have one campaign, and then you ride the success of that campaign, and then you switch over to the other platform. I think that running it two at the same time, and on top of it, the amount of stress. Like, what if one of your campaigns is doing really well, and that's the one where everyone's going to, and then your other campaign isn't doing well at all? And especially as I said, what if the campaign that's not doing well is the Kickstarter? Well, now you have this campaign that you put all this effort into, and if you don't hit that goal on your Kickstarter, then you've effectively wasted your time running two campaigns at the same time, and you're not going to get any return off of it from one of those sites. So you might as well
you also have to personalize it.
Kevin, I think you froze, bud.
Yeah, I'm not making it, Kevin.
Did that come? All right. Is audio better now?
Yeah, here we go.
How's that? Okay. I was saying that you need to personalize to whichever group and utilize the strengths of that funder. Play off the strengths wherever you're at.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, and this is something that shocks creators. And I knew this going into it. On Kickstarter, I have an audience. When you go to Indiegogo, you don't have an audience. And a lot of times, and Mike knows this, I had to get a special charge card to use on Indiegogo because my actual card kept flagging as
I've had at least 5 people say, "Hey, I would love to back your book, but I'm not I can't." And Indiegogo won't let me. And I tell them, if you want, you can PayPal it to me, and then I don't hear back from them.
Well, I wasn't full of it. I actually.
No, I know. And you went the extra mile, and we're really excited for you to get the book. And I know that you do comic reviews, and I'm excited for you to get a hold of my book. And if it's great, awesome. If you hate it, then tear it to bits.
You say that now. You say that now.
This may be my first book, but I am no stranger to the creative industry. I write freelance for a lot of industry news sites, and I've had people tear into my work before. I wrote a piece, and it's funny because the Snyder Cut just got announced today. I wrote a piece for one of my first pieces for Up Your Geek was about the potential of the Snyder Cut and it not looking good, and I got literal death threats for writing that because I don't pull my punches in my writing. I'm a very honest reviewer. I especially when it comes down to comics, I give constructive criticism, but I also and if I like a book, I'm going to gush about it. But if I don't like it, I'm also going to point out what I had an issue with. And with the Snyder Cut, Rob, you and I have talked a little bit about my feelings on everything with that, but people didn't like what I had to say, and so I got death threats, man. I'm ready for anything. It'll suck, especially since you and I have built such a good rapport, and I really want you to like the book.
Well, I'm not going into it. For the record, I want to like everything I read because
exactly.
I don't, and I backed it. I'm paying him. This isn't a free review. This is me having the book. And imagine how mad I'll be, Michael. Imagine how mad I'll be if I paid for it and it's bad.
No, and that's why I said if you don't like it, tear it to pieces. I want to learn. I can't do that if people bullshit me and tell me, "Oh, I thought it was great," and then behind my back, what a terrible book. I can't fix anything if you don't let me know.
I'll be honest with you. Here's a tip I've learned earlier in my career, and I apply it to this day. When you ask someone their idea of a story, what did you think of my comic? And they start saying things like, "Oh, it was good. I liked it. It was a good book. Oh, you did good. You've done horrible." They're being nice to you. That's the kiss of death. When anyone says words like good or okay, they either didn't like it or they're not really talking to you.
Yeah,
I find
like-
they use words like when I really love that. Oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah.
You did a really good job. I love the art. When they're talking about specific aspects of it, you've done good. That's why I didn't do reviews. I gave up reviews for 2 years, and people kept hounding me. Why aren't you doing reviews? Why aren't you doing reviews? Because they'd give me their books and they'd be horrible.
Yeah,
they would. Or there would be like little problems, and I didn't want to critique. That's why I noticed this isn't on my site. I'm doing this on Geek Insider. So it's not even on my own site. I actually went somewhere else to be able to give honest reviews.
And I don't blame you. It's funny that you mentioned that because like I've actually had a lot of luck. As I said, I do freelance writing and do reviews, and so I've had a lot of people send me their stuff, especially after I did my review of Dave Brink's Perfect 10. A lot of people really liked how that article was set up. It's people sent me stuff, and for the most part, I've been really lucky. A lot of really good books, a lot of passion in them. But I got, and it was funny because it was the first time that I was given an indie book by my editor. He was like, "Hey, we've got these guys that are looking to get a review done for their book. Take a look." And so I read it, and it was awful. It was a really bad book. It had a lot of great art, and there was competent writing here or there, but like it's a single issue. It's like a single 25-issue story written by 3 different writers, and they're a collection of shorts. Like it switches between like 3 or 4 different characters, and I'm just like, you don't have enough space here. Like like each one of these characters is getting 4, maybe 5 pages of story in this issue, and you don't have enough time to emotionally invest in any of them. I couldn't tell you a single one of those characters' names.
Movies tend to do that. They tend to, rush plots or tie things together. Like the last Superman movie was, to me, horrible, even though I love Superman, because they threw in 4 or 5 different plot lines.
Oh man, I'm not that's a trigger in and of itself. I mean, I've written a lot on Batman. I wrote a whole thing on how Batman versus Superman is just like, it's 5 movies.
It is
completely just thrown into one, and it's just you can't do that. And don't get me wrong, I don't think the Snyder Cut is going to be especially good, but I am glad that it's getting out there. I do think that it speaks volumes to the power of fan bases.
Now, Mike, do you know if the Snyder Cut's going to be done? Because I knew the original Snyder Cut wasn't fully done. There was some.
So this is what I understand. The Snyder Cut will be released on HBO Max in 2021. This hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, so take this with a grain of salt. But from what I understand, HBO is paying for Snyder to not only do the digital edits, but to do his reshoots that he wanted to do with scenes like introducing the Martian Manhunter and everything. Which is going to be a contractual nightmare. I do not envy the poor HBO lawyer that's going to have to draw up new contracts for Ben Affleck, Amy Adams, what's his name that plays the general from Man of Steel, because he is going to end up being John Jones.
He might not have to. Those reshoots are sometimes even covered. If he never got to do the original reshoots,
normally yes. You would be correct, but there was already a theatrical release.
Oh, does that change it? I thought
because at that point the contract's been completed.
I bet you all Warner Brothers is going to do, or AT&T now, is go, hey guys, you want to be in a future movie? Yeah, do these reshoots for a day. Thanks.
Well, I think they'll definitely get Cavill off of that, but Amy Adams doesn't care. She's an Oscar. She's won she's won at least one Oscar and has been nominated for a few. She's not hurting for work. Jason Momoa will sign it because he's a good friend of Snyder and he'd practically do it for free. Ezra Miller will sign it because Ezra Miller's career is in chaos right now after that video.
They kind of just threw Aquaman in the mix. They're like, oh, hey, by the way, here's Aquaman. There he goes.
Dude, it's crazy because if you watch the Aquaman movie, it makes Justice League even worse because you're like, he wasn't even Aquaman yet.
Right.
Now,
he wasn't even King of Atlantis.
He was just a dude.
All right. I do want to point out, and I want to get back to comic book making. The one reason I kind of let this conversation go on, and I'm sure a lot of people hadn't associated it yet, but it really is double dipping. HBO is literally going to double dip. So it's actually part of the topic. But I do want to reel it back in. I want to get back.
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
creating side.
Sorry about going off on that.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's good to see a creator who's passionate about comic books as opposed to all the other people who tell me that comics are fucking storyboards for movies. I cannot stand that. Meredith knows. If she's listening right now, she just got a huge smile. Meredith knows how I think about people who call comic books storyboards for television and movies.
Negative, sir.
Yes,
You will not hear that from me.
Negative. There's a video out there of my initial reaction to it, and I'm told it's hysterical. And they're like, nope, I get why they call you the devil now.
I need to find that. That's awesome.
I'll send
I do
it.
apologize. I have to run and get back to all of these boxes.
Go ahead, Kev.
So we want to jump in and say hi, and definitely send me a friend request, and we'll see if we can get you some more backing from our side. And,
Fantastic. I will. Yeah, Kevin, I'll find you on Rob's Facebook, and I'll hit you up.
Yep, you'll see we're plastered all over his network, so we share stuff back and forth, and we're just out here to help people. So just hit me up.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for the support.
All right, take care.
You the same.
So now, just to end the program, so we're at the last 20 minutes, and today I actually have something to do at the end of the hour. I do want to ask you a question about your creative work on Indiegogo as far as promoting it, because a lot of people ask me, well, how do you get people to get to Indiegogo? Do you have any tips for people?
Oh, man.
Because especially with the double dip, I'll be honest, I'm having trouble bringing people over. But again, my fan base answered on Kickstarter, so I feel bad trying to
and that's the thing, is it's very different because you have an established fan base, right? You've been doing books for a while. And so if they've already hit once, it kind of feels bad to go over and hit them up again. And I don't really have any advice on that. But what I will say is, this is my first book. And so I approached my marketing from this as I started off with every single company starts off with backers that are friends and family, people that that are willing to invest that money in you because they have an emotional investment and they know what you what you're worth, And so that's where I started. Is I went and I reached out to everybody, and it was honestly, this time period with everything going on was almost perfect because it gave me a chance to talk to people I haven't talked to in a while and make sure that they were doing okay. And so once we would get to talking, I would let them know, hey, by the way, I just launched an Indiegogo to crowdfund my own comic book. And they'd be like, that's insane. You've wanted to do this your entire life. And so then they would go and they'd take a look at it and they'd back it, and then they'd share it with all their friends, and then their friends would back it. And that's how I started. But then I also started to branch off, and I was doing research on things like Twitter marketing and what have you. And so I would go on Twitter, and I would go to the big some of the bigger comic book pages, and I'd just go onto their followers and I'd just start following people. And then I'd start making more and more posts about Elysian Fields, and people would like it and share it around. And every single time I got followed back, I'd be like, "Hey, thanks for the follow. We've got our campaign going right now. We'd love for you to take a look. And if you find what you see interesting, any support you can send us is appreciated. Whether it's purchasing a perk tier, or just sharing it around." And people are 9 times out of 10 willing to at least retweet. 9 times out of 10, even on Facebook, willing to share the link around, because nobody outwardly wants to see anyone fail unless you've made a severe enemy out of somebody. So you're just when you're going at it from this standpoint, and for me, as this is my first campaign, so I didn't have anything to stand off. I didn't have a fan base that I could be like, hey guys, I know that you liked my last few books. We're having a new one. So I had to build it. I had to build it from the ground up. That was a serious thing that went against me, but I think it was also one of my biggest advantages, because it meant that I had to completely commit to it. There was no success for Elysian Fields if I wasn't at my computer talking to every single person that I know, reaching out to everyone on Twitter, doing everything I possibly could to get the notice, and it's paid off. 158 backers doesn't just come out of nowhere, and it's certainly not just family and friends. We had a lot of like those people were that first wave that I had, but since then I would say we've turned the ratio around, where most of the people that are backing my book, I have no clue who they are, or they're people I have met through the indie comics community that they want to help a fellow indie creator, and that's how you build.
We have about 10 minutes until the hour's up. I did say that we're going to offer Q&A. This is actually our last Q&A of the season. For those who didn't know, because I've said this and I want people to be aware, we're ending the panels being live every day at 4 p.m. We have new programming because the world's starting to open up. Things are starting to create a new normal. And we always said we'd do the panels until we saw that moment. And this is us trying to show that things are changing. Yeah. So next week we have all new planning, all new I'm losing the word programming. We have all new programming starting next week. Some of it's old. Crowdfunding report will be at this time next week. We have done for 10 weeks. It's been a topic about crowdfunding. So we're going to continue that on Wednesdays. But since we're going to be tuning into that, we're going to give you the opportunity I'm going to back out. We're going to put up your crowdfunding, and you got 5 minutes to win anyone over you want with your thing. We're going to bring up your Kickstarter information. Give me 1 second. I'm trying, not Kickstarter. Just, again, force a habit with just being used to that name, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we're going to bring it up. I'm going to call up my history because we just had it open. And there it is. And we're going to let you talk about it for 5 minutes. So start completely over, fresh. Talk to the people about this project. You're up.
So I think that there's no better place to start than to let you guys know a little bit about what the book is about. So we're going to start off with my elevator pitch, which is fate shackled Achilles in life. In death, he was finally free until a mysterious calling took him from his peace, and he is forced to fight as a champion for Hades in a tournament that crowns the ruler of the underworld every 1,000 years. And so this book is a severe passion project for me. Mythology has been a massive part of my life since I was a kid. My dad read me the Iliad when I was growing up, and that was something that was very precious to me because my dad was SF, and so he'd be gone a few months at a time. And so whenever he'd come home, this would be like, the Iliad was the big thing I was looking forward to him reading. And, as I grew up, that love of mythology never died. When I was in middle school, I was really into Latin, and I participated in these things called Latin Critamens, and I made friends there. And we'd talk about, what mythological characters would win against each other in a fight. We'd talk about stuff like that. And this kind of got the wheels going on the project, and it just continued to build from there. It came to a point where finally about 4 or 5 months ago, I had just hit a setback with trying to pitch a series to a company, and it fell through. They didn't get back to me, and so I was talking to a buddy on the phone, and he was like, "Do you have any original ideas?" I was like, well, I had this one thing, and we started talking about it, and I kind of got the base concept flushed out, and then the next day I was doing an outline and writing a script, and then things just kept going past that. We would hit we got an artist, and he was great, and he was really invested, and then we launched the campaign, and then within a few weeks of that I met Luke Stone, who he's been a big part of this project. He's our letterer, and he's also given me a lot of great advice and helped out finding me a printer and everything, and it was just win after win, and every single time we could push forward we did. And now we have these the 158 backers. We're donating 25 copies to the Walter Reed Wounded Warrior Hospital for SF, the SF clinic in Walter Reed. I apologize that I stumbled over my words there. But yeah, like we're doing big things, and we'd love to have you come on. I know that Luke's so invested in the project that he did an original art piece of one of our characters. And so that's up as one of the perk tiers. You can get a hold of Luke's Luke's original art, and you'll be also getting a signed copy of Elysian Fields and Jim O'Reilly's pinup. And Jim O'Reilly, another talented artist, did a pinup for this campaign. The amount of people that have seen it and believe in it, it's truly rewarding. And I hope that me talking about this to you guys is giving you a little bit of a inspiration to go on ahead and take a look at it yourself and get a copy. And I hope to see some more contributions today, so I can send you guys your secret perks as a thank you for backing Elysian Fields. And thank you, Rob, for having me on here one more time. This is such a great opportunity, and you've been such a tremendous support to the campaign and to me in general, and showing me around and introducing me to all these different people.
My pleasure. Let's talk about it. Let's get deeper into it. So your pitch is the one thing missing from your shorter video. What is your longer pitch? Like, everyone's got two pitches. What's the long? What am I missing?
So the longer pitch is actually up there. Let me pull it up on my screen. Oh, buddy, it's okay. So the longer pitch is: Achilles fought with a fiery rage for glory during his short life. When he arrived in the underworld and reunited with his beloved comrade Patroclus, he thought he could finally spend eternity enjoying the things he missed out on in life. This was not the case. After a momentary reunion, the best of the Greeks was ferried away to an amphitheater where he was to fight alongside other heroes of his world, Heracles and Theseus, for the god Hades to retain his dominion over the underworld. With the world's pantheons expanding and past pantheons crumbling, Hades is willing to grant Achilles his greatest desire. Hold on one second. I'm going to mute my thing so you guys don't have to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. As you guys can see, I'm making waffles while I'm doing the show because Jax needs to eat. Let me ask you a question. I hear Achilles. Are there any other mythical like, are we going to see a Hercules show up in this? Like, talk to me, tease me. I know you don't want to give everything away. I know that you can't give everything away. But are there other, I guess, Greek gods that are going to be showing up in this this amazing project? And if so, who are they?
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Did you hear me?
I did not. Somebody was talking to me about something.
You're good. I was asking, are there any other mythical Greek people that you can tell us are in this, such as like a Hercules, maybe?
So the big characters from Greek mythology that you will see that are main proponents are Heracles, Theseus, and Hades. And you do see Charon, the ferryman of the underworld, in the 0 issue and a little bit in the first issue. But the main thing is they're going to be fighting people from other pantheons. So you're going to be seeing you're going to be seeing people like Gilgamesh and Enkidu are going to be heavy in there. You're going to be seeing monsters and creatures from Egyptian mythology. You're going to be seeing Imhotep, the guy that created the pyramids. There are a lot of people that you're going to be getting a chance to see in this because it takes from a global pantheon. So you've got people from the North, you've got heroes from Norse mythology, you've got heroes from Celtic mythology, Japanese mythology. The list goes on.
So that's all the time we have today. I appreciate you being on here. Believe it or not, this is our 50th OnCon panel. This is 50.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're actually going to wrap it up tomorrow at number 51, and we'll have programming on Friday. That's not a panel. So I appreciate you being on to one of the next to last in this series.
It was my pleasure, man.
The panels will continue. One last question. Will there be a hybrids possible crossover? You brought up Luke Stone.
Oh man, we got that question when we were interviewing with Demon Phil, and Luke and I were pretty much like, that would be a fun thing to do. It would be nigh impossible given both of our concepts being so wildly different. But like, if we figured out a way to have the narrative provide for it, we'd totally do it.
Well, I have a way. I'm creating something called Alter Realms. It's going to be like for a probably advocator book where we're taking different characters that should never interact and we're giving panelists for reasons that they can't.
You know, it's interesting because I actually heard you talk about that. And the last time that I watched one of your Kickstarter pause, you had I'm blanking on the guy's name. He's Aussie. He jokingly called out copyright on Elysian Fields because it's a very similar concept to XTC.
And you see, I defended you, right?
Yeah, and I looked it up, and I went and I actually reached out to him, and we might be doing a crossover. I talked to him, and I said, you know, I looked up your book. It looks really cool. We do have a very similar concept. You know, I don't want to like sign anything up right now because I want to make sure that people like Elysian Fields and that it has a future. But if we continue to do books, would you be interested in doing a crossover? And he said, "Oh my God, yes, please." And so, like once we've settled down this campaign and set up the next and what have you, there's a very good chance that I think it is Sean, right?
Yes, Sean.
Sean and I think that Sean and I will probably sit down and work out a way for us to have some of our characters go and fight in some other weird tournament and get like kind of teleported somewhere else so that they can be free of continuity but still be doing a similar thing, and they'll have a chance to rumble around.
I'm all for it. You know what? Count me in for backing that. I want to see you two work together. And the fact that it came together because of my show just proves how important it is us creators supporting each other. He made a comment. He said I was joking a little bit, but that got, you know, Mike was like, well, what's this guy talking about? He went to go look at his thing. This is how it can happen, guys. We don't got to kneecap each other. We can support each other and make great things.
Yep. And I already backed his campaign, backed it to the full so I can get all the past issues of his book so that I can do my research and figure out a good way for our stories to intersect.
I love hearing those stories. I love bringing creative people together. That's what the Alter Realms is going to be all about. That's coming in 2021. I'd
be down for that. If you figure out a way for us to have Luke's characters and minds intersect in that thing, like Luke and I both said that we'd be willing to do it so long as there was the story there.
I'm messaging Luke as soon as I get off of here. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. 50 straight panels on the weekdays. That's not a small thing. I thank all the guests and all that. This has been a great experience. Panels will continue. You guys see we have a new logo for it, live panel. We'll continue them as necessary when we have a topic we want to talk about. Great news here in Florida. So far, fingers crossed, nothing goes wrong. I will be at a Comic-Con in July at Tampa Bay Comic-Con. We are going back to the road. So they announced that they have gotten the A-OK to go ahead with the local community and the local government. So it's opening up, guys. I feel it. I think we're going to get to the other side, and I think we're going to be there. I don't know what the fall is going to bring. I'm just worried about the summer, people. And you guys are going to see some great summer programming for us, whether I'm at a con or not. So nothing is ending. And maybe when Mike's done, we'll try to get him on a regular on a show somewhere and get him started. Because he's got some great wealth of knowledge. And we want to get someone to cover, actually, especially for comic book advocates. It'd be great to have someone who's as passionate as you be part of the conversation when it comes to commercial releases.
I would be honored.
All right, so we'll talk more about that in the coming days when you're done with your campaign. I get it, campaign, eat, sleep, campaign. Eat, sleep, campaign. You're not even allowed to poop when you're in a campaign. You got to hold it till the end.
Yeah, speaking of, nature is calling, and I got to go get my son, so I do have to run. But
all right,
at the end, I'll chat with you guys here in a bit.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. All right, so that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Time to be out. Thank you for being part of it. I'm going to leave with the intro for our other show that you saw the 7 reasons, but this is what Kickstarter Pause is, and it'll be replacing the programming next week on Wednesday. Welcome to Kickstarter Pause. So who wants to play? What is Kickstarter Pause? Well, it's when a guest sits down to watch all the crowdfunding videos we are advocating for, and they hit pause on a video when their interest is lost in that video. This is a fun way to teach creators about the attention spans of individuals and what works and does not work in their videos. Want to be a guest? Have a crowdfunding campaign? Reach out to us, but for now, let's start this program and introduce our guest judge.
Remember to be kind and share.